Good evening, everybody. How you doing? It's Thursday night. It's 7 o'clock. It's time for Content and Cocktails. It's one of the the episodes that I really enjoy doing, where we get somebody with a big brain and kind of big ideas to come along and chat about what they do. And we've got Sneha Verma here to talk about. Well, we'll get on to that in a minute. I'm not going to spoil. Yes. I'm not going to spoil the surprise yet. But we've sort of teased the idea in the description box. But for those of you who are new to this, Content and Cocktails has now been going for 3 years, if you can believe it. And for the last 3 years, I've been turning up on a Thursday evening and mixing myself a drink and chatting about all things video making and video marketing. And it has been an absolute pleasure. And we are going live in lots of different places. So if you are on Facebook, hello. If you're on Twitter, you might be on Twitter, I guess. We are going live on Twitter. Not that I have a particularly significant Twitter following, but hello. We're live on Twitch as well, so we always get a few viewers on Twitch, which is always a bit weird, but, you're very welcome wherever you are. LinkedIn, we're on LinkedIn, hello, and Facebook. So, and not Facebook, YouTube. So, as always, the format is that I come on, I blether on for a little bit, introducing myself, and then I make a cocktail. Whilst I'm making a cocktail, which incidentally, we're going back to Bernard. So just for your kind of information, this Content and Cocktails was based on the idea. This cocktail book was given to me by my grandfather, and it's a 1945 cocktail book, and it's called 100 Cocktails and How to Mix Them by Bernard. And it's inscribed, it says Neil Coxon, Madras, 1945, where he was kind of stationed at the tail end of the Second World War, and it's a war standard issue cocktail book, which I love. So it's quite what the sort of war economy standard cocktail book brought to the war effort. I don't know, but there you go. It's like, but we are going to hello, Mike boss. My boss is a well, he's got kind of a very particular set of skills. He's a business finance guy, but also a video drone operator. So he's a good man to know.
Oh, very cool.
Tonight we are going to be mixing a Montserrat cocktail, which is, they all sound. Some of these are truly revolting. They have not aged well. So we've got. If you want to mix along with me, here we are. Here's the recipe. A third of a measure of dry gin, 2 dashes of absinthe, a teaspoonful of grenadine, 2 teaspoonsful of lime juice, a cherry, and that's all shaken over ice. And it says half fill the shaker with broken ice and add the dry gin. Then add the lime juice, the grenadine syrup, and the absinthe. Shake well and pass through a strainer into a cocktail glass. Serve with a cherry. And it says this cocktail is very refreshing and medium strength. It sounds pretty strong to me, but there we go. So we're gonna make this one. Whilst I'm making a cocktail, I would love for you to introduce yourself to everybody and let us know who you are and what you're all about.
Of course, but before I do, I beat you to it because I have my gin here with my pomegranates in already.
Well
so cheers. So yes, hi, my name is Sneha and I'm a transformational mindset and marketing coach, and it's awesome to be here. Thank you so much, Tom, for inviting me.
My pleasure. I've lost my oh, there we go.
You got it.
I've got it. Yeah.
I'm gonna take a sip of mine.
Yeah, so you're a transformational mindset coach. So tell me what does that mean for your clients? Oh, we've lost you. Oh no, where have you gone? I think we've got a connection issue.
Sorry, my internet is a little bit in and out today.
That's all right. We might have missed the last sort of 10 seconds of what you were saying. So rewind a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, repeat the question. I missed that, what you said, sorry.
So I was saying, so for your clients as a transformational mindset coach, what does that mean for them? Tell me about that and how that,
of course.
How that
Sure. So basically, the clients that I work with struggle with a lot of things like procrastination, self-sabotage, imposter syndrome, self-doubt, all those types of things. They are absolutely excellent, phenomenal at what they do, but they just can't break through those barriers. And they know that if they do break through those barriers, they will be able to help clients, all over the world to be successful, to be, to move forward in whatever it is that they're doing. So we break through those, and I use RTT. So I don't know if you've heard of that. It's kind of a hypnotherapy, form of hypnotherapy. So we use those to kind of eliminate all of that. And then I give them the strategies of how to move their business forward using various marketing tools.
Yeah, I'm going to pause that. I'm just going to give this a vigorous shake for a second.
Yes. Go ahead.
So Andy has asked, what's tonight's drinky? We've gone back to Bernard. We've gone for a Montserrat. The recipe is in the comments in the main group if you want to dare to drink along. It's kind of, oh, I've just found my cocktail shaker. I was wondering why it was making us quite a loud, rattly noise. It's in the, it's in the shaker. So, I've been doing, you wouldn't believe I've been doing this for 3 blooming years, would you? I'm making it look very difficult. Yes. Okay. So you're working with people predominantly. Is it online, or are you sort of what's your preferred working method?
So yes, predominantly online. So majority of the people that come through to me are therapists and coaches themselves. So we work together to kind of shape up their business, get them started, get a system in place where they can get leads and business coming in sort of consistently on a rinse and repeat basis. Because I think that's the main problem that people are having at the moment is they're hearing so many things from gurus about the best things to do, be all over social media, but they realistically that didn't taste too good. Maybe you should have gone for my one.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Carry on.
Yeah, so it's really about kind of building something that's sustainable and and reliable, and getting the monthly income coming in. And that's what's quite difficult when you're a therapist and a coach and you're running your business online, is to have some reliable income so you can pay your bills, so you can make sure everything is coming through, and how much is going to be coming through monthly, because that's always a tough point for us when we're working online, right?
Well, and I think the sort of the practical realities of life at the moment is that we are going into or are firmly in a as the Bank of England so handily pointed out, the worst recession since the 1930s. It's like, that's going to bolster confidence, isn't it? Thanks, guys. So we kind of, as business owners, I think we are presented with some fantastic opportunities, and if we can get our lead generation right and our marketing right, these are the periods of time when people can really grow. And understanding how we articulate our messages and how we communicate that message to the people who are most likely to buy us is something that is, I mean, it's a core function of anybody marketing. And at the moment, it feels like it's if I think back to 2020, 2021, when we were moving our business online, it was very easy because we had people who were looking for, frankly, in many cases, something to do. And we weren't able to go out and spend our money. And for a lot of businesses, the government was handing out quite large quantities of it. And it felt very, very different. 2020 to 2022 feels like a very as Andy says, talk about a self-fulfilling prophecy. Thanks, Bank. I mean, I'm not an expert in this field, but I can't help feeling there might have been a better way to do it. But having said all of that, the opportunity is still there. It's tough trading conditions, but we have to play. We have to work with the world as it is, not as we wish it were. And I think at the moment there's some exciting things. So give me some top tips. What are you advising people to do at the moment? What's kind of on your sort of, when you write a prescription to your clients, what's on that prescription?
I think it's all about right now is don't step down. You need to step up. Like, this is really the time now to show people what you can do.
Yeah.
And being a coach and therapist, you're so needed right now, you know. So instead of kind of stepping back and thinking, okay, nobody's going to want to spend the money, it's not true. More than anything, people are working on their mindsets. You know, people have mental health issues. You know, those are the things that we are here to help. And we need to push our services in order to serve more people, because that's what we do. That's what we love to do. So definitely step up right now. Don't step down.
And I think it's interesting that, so our field of work has been traditionally that balance between the kind of solo entrepreneurs, coaches in that space. You know, a lot of my audience is made up of people who are sort of doing a bit of everything in their business, but also it's the large kind of, you know, we're like dealing with large corporates. And last time in the 2008 recession, we were predominantly public sector at the time as a production company, and paid a very heavy price for, you know, the fact that we weren't particularly diversified. We were working with a lot of councils and NHS trusts, and budgets disappeared. Yeah. And actually we were left, you know, we had sort of 10 people on the 10 members of staff, and like, oh, well, there goes our business. So, you know, sometimes there are things that you can do. And actually, you know, I look back at that time and think, well, there were some things that we should have done very differently, but that's the benefit of hindsight. But I think now it sort of feels different. I can't necessarily, I think there's a prevailing mind, sort of, it feels like there's a prevailing kind of sense of, feels like, I don't want to get political, but it doesn't feel like we've got particularly useful people at the wheel. So, you know,
yeah, that's a mild, polite way of putting it. Yeah.
Yes. I would like to see somebody with a plan that isn't, you know,
all that's gone out the window. Yeah.
So communication with your sort of ideal customers, I guess, is a good way to talk. So, you know, first of all, you've got to know who you're selling to, haven't you? Have you got a particular methodology that you like to sort of use when you're trying to work out that sort of ideal client, ideal customer, ideal audience member?
Oh, do you know what? It goes back to, you know, doing it the traditional way is to do some research. Like, it really is about talking to people, you know, and the internet has a wealth of knowledge, as we know, and so many people at your fingertips that you can be asking. And I think when I've worked with, or while working with coaches and therapists that I am now, a lot of my clients haven't even done that research. Yeah. They haven't done that initial foundation to find out what do they really want? What do my clients really need from me? What is the solution that I can give them? We just assume. Most people in businesses that I've spoke to just assume, one, that they know the terms, the words that they're even talking about, let alone what the actual solution is going to be. We just assume what their needs are. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of businesses, coaches and therapists fail, because they really haven't dived in to who their actual ideal client are. And that's really important. And that is one of the foundations that I teach. And it's about, you know, getting to 5 to 10 people just to, you know, get on a call, have a proper conversation, and really dive into their pain points. What is it that you need? How can I help you?
I think this is it. And I've been, so I do one of the sort of things I do with people is it's all around making YouTube work as a lead generation tool. And the absolute cornerstone of that, the real sort of, I say cornerstone, the foundation, if we're going to use accurate building metaphors. The foundations to all of this is in that understanding. It's not just understanding what they want, it's also understanding how they talk about what they want. Because actually, when you can start to understand the language that people use sort of naturally around the ideas they want to, or the problems they want solving, or the things they want help with, that's when I think you can start to really sort of get under people, get into people's minds and go, okay, I can see the things you want help with, but it helps us understand the language. So
yes, exactly.
There are two benefits here. If you understand the language that people use, then you can help them better. But also from a technical point of view, if you understand the language that people use to talk about the problems, you can then use that as a search engine. So YouTube is a search engine fundamentally. That's Andy's got a really good question here, and we will come. So Andy has a product business, a really amazing product business called Damsel's Brooches. He makes these beautiful handmade pieces of jewelry using fly tying techniques. And, Andy has been on. Andy, so you won't have seen anything like it, and it's beautiful stuff, really lovely. But he's got a product business, and I dare I say, I think the kind of a lot of the there's a lot of overlap. I think. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. We'll go straight into this rather than me wittering on a few more minutes about ideal customer.
Okay, so you're asking, how do you turn your approach into someone who's selling products that they make and sell? It's still the same thing. You still, I've done marketing. That was, I actually completed my marketing masters, and that's literally one of the first things we do the research for whatever it is you're trying to sell. Is definitely go back to your market and see, who it benefits, literally going down to what age group, what's gender, starting from that point and then building up from there. If they're gifts for someone, however you want to go into the market, it's definitely doing research first.
Yeah, I mean, Andy is an alumni of my video academy course, and one of the things we did was I encourage people to do a really deep dive into ideal customer at the start, because it does that ideal audience work as well. And one of the exercises I encourage people to do is the 100 statements thing, where you attempt to write 100 statements about this notional person. And I try and encourage people to use it's only that thing about what's the word I'm looking for? It's that thing about sort of taking a deep dive into, and Andy did that, and he's got a really clear understanding of why people would want to buy from it, and a very particular person. And
I get my clients sometimes to name them, literally give them a name.
Yeah, and it says, Andy, so it's only that I really hear about how you sell your coach. Yeah, so I think it's the kind of when we talk about coaching, it's the breadth of messaging, I think, needs, it's more about what's the still a thing about yeah. I think Andy's accidentally created his perfect woman so I think with the ideal customer, this is how I see it. So we understand the person, then then we layer on top of that the messages that we want to use or sort of broadcast in order to connect the thing we do or make with the desires and needs of the person we've created. Now, what's your take on all of that?
In what way?
How you join up that kind of that sort of person we create in the ideal customer and the thing we do. What are we? And I suppose we're getting into storytelling here. We're sort of
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, it's exactly that. I mean, it's about how you use it, really, because once you've done your market research, like you've said, it's finding out the language that your ideal client actually uses, which is the powerful part of it.
Yeah.
And then you can use that for anything, your sales content, your landing pages, anything that you're putting out there that your ideal client is going to see, your content, and obviously stories, which is, a main reason that I'm on here is to talk to you about stories, because that's huge.
Yeah.
Writing your content based on that. And when we talk about stories, I mean, I'll go into sort of the tools in a minute that I use for that. But one of the main things I find and I talk to my clients about is actually how you resonate with them. And when you've done your market research and you have an idea who these clients are, do they resonate with your story? Because, there may be a reason, like for yourself, Andy, why you've gone into these type of products for you. There may be a backstory behind it. And using your backstory is very powerful. And if you're using the language from the research that you've gained, then that's phenomenal, because then you can put that everywhere. And literally the people that you want to sell to will put their hands up and say, Andy, yeah, that's me. I need that. And that's what you're looking for.
And I think the reality is that, I mean, I have been very guilty of this year. The consistency of the messaging is the one thing that I always find myself thinking, oh God, am I sharing this too much? And then I have to remind myself, it's like, no, you're probably not sharing it enough, not by a long way. So it's that thing we think
really people, you should be asking.
Yeah. If you're sick of it, you haven't done nowhere near enough. You've got to be, you've got to move through that feeling of it's that realization that, one, the messaging on social media platforms is weird anyway, because only a tiny fraction of our audience ever sees any sort of kind of like a tiny sliver of it. The other thing is that people need to see things. I mean, depending on what you read, it's anywhere between 7 and pick a number times for the touches thing. And then you have this, people. I heard somebody last year talking about micro touches. This idea of just literally seeing your name come up in a notification and saying, you need 250 of these micro touches. And I'm thinking, that's incredible. It just reminds you how relentless you need to be.
Yeah,
sometimes. You do. But there are ways to make it a bit easier, thankfully, aren't there?
Yes, there are. And the thing is, it's like when I'm working with my clients, a lot of them think, well, I'm putting out too much, like, am I going to start bugging them? But the thing is, people start to think, well, as soon as I put something out on social media, everyone is going to see it, and that's why they feel like they're going to be judged. But the reality is, unfortunately, hardly anybody sees it. That's the reality. That's why you need to do it, as many times a day as possible, because hardly anyone sees your content unless you are consistent with it. And doing stories and actually using the Facebook and Instagram stories tools is absolutely amazing for that. And, that really goes in well with what you do in terms of video and photography, because it is very visual. That's literally what it's about,
I'm shy about, I accidentally raised that. I've always been a bit shy about stories. I don't know, I couldn't tell you why, but I do like them. And I always see good engagement when I use them. Talk to me about stories.
Okay.
So first of all, what do we mean by stories? Define that.
Yeah, okay. So stories is obviously a way to get your message out to everyone on social media. So you can either be using, LinkedIn actually used to have a tool called stories as well. So literally what it is, it's something that goes up. It's a tool that you can use on Facebook or Instagram that lasts literally for 24 hours. And you'll see it usually on the top of Messenger or on the top of your Facebook. It's not the same as Reels, because Reels will just stay there, whereas the stories are just a flash in the pan. It lasts for 24 hours and then disappears. I think that the idea of it obviously came from Snapchat when they first started doing that, when everyone thought that was crazy. And then they adopted the idea and started using that now. But the beauty of it is that it literally can go out to millions of people you can use hashtags, you can use links in it, you can put in music in it, you can make it really entertaining, you can interrupt. And that's what social media is about, is it's that interrupting the pattern, so people look at you and you attract the attention there and then.
Well, Mike, so I've got a few interesting comments. So Mike Boss, so I always use the come hello, high water marketing every day, whether business is flying or on the floor. You must be present on social media, getting a message out there.
Yeah,
that's true. And don't be disappointed. You are good. You are good at this. And maybe, yeah. I mean, there's always room for improvement. Geez, I am with you 100% on that. You are doing a lot. But like you say, maybe not enough. But then I think that goes for every one of us. And it can be difficult if you don't have a marketing team of your own. Being that person who is doing it, as Mike says, come hell or high water, can feel really hard. Yes. There are those days when you just think, I don't know if I can. And I think it's okay to have days like that. But, it's like getting up and dusting ourselves down and continuing the good fight.
And you know what? That's the beauty of automation as well, because if you can automate some of the stuff that you're doing, I don't automate, like you can use obviously the tools to be able to put up your post for you, etc. So you can use a scheduler. I don't generally, because I put up the post when I feel like I want to put up the post and things like that. But you can do that for the in-between. So when you're not feeling up to it, at least you have got some content that is going to go up automatically, whether you're feeling up to it or not. You still got stuff going out there, and then in between that time, you can do other things that you feel like doing, when you want to.
Yeah. Now, I want to just sort of slightly divert from here. We were, just there's no one to kick you up the arse. You sort of got to be your self arse kicker.
I mean, that's one point we'll come back to actually when we talk about one of the reasons I'm on here, because in what I do, it's the accountability part is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've actually, our paths have only crossed relatively recently, and we share a rather a lovely VA.
Yes,
and a VA Eminem kind of introduced us, and we realised there was quite a lot of crossover in what we're doing, and a lot of help. So Sneha has a challenge coming up now. We hear a lot about challenge. We've all there's a lot of challenges out there, but this is one that really caught my eye. I've got no skin in the game in this. I'm not affiliating or anything like this. I'm purely, and I will be coming and doing this one because it is all about stories, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And it's about what we've been talking about. It's about understanding your niche. It's about doing it consistently. It's about having the accountability. It's about understanding the strategy behind posting stories. And believe it or not, when I first started doing this right at the beginning of this year, I was doing it for 30 days. So I was getting people into the challenge because the idea was to build up the habit. And, as we know, it takes 30 to 90 days to build up a successful habit. And that's why I started doing it for 30 days. But it has got shorter and shorter as I've been going through it. Then it went to 14 days, and now it's actually at 7 days. But I still managed to teach you in that time a great amount of content and strategy that's going to help you carry on and using that tool and be consistent with it and find it easy. Because the point is, if you don't love it, if you don't enjoy it, if you don't find it easy, you're just not going to do it. That's it at the end of the day. And that's why I love stories, because you can be really creative without going down too much of a rabbit hole, which is why I give you the strategy, because that's the danger, right? But yeah, I mean, that's why I think stories works really well, is that you can put so much on it. And there are some fantastic tools in there that businesses just don't utilize enough to be able to.
You see, this is one of the reasons I'm really excited, because I am totally not clueless, but I know I'm missing a big trick here.
Yeah,
and this is why
you definitely are, Tom. For what you do, 100%.
So can I? Because I know I can do this for reels, and I do reels. Can I create stories off platform?
Yeah.
And then upload? Okay.
Oh, and stories isn't live. So even if you went in and you click stories, you're
Yeah.
actually doing the recording and then you get a chance to say, okay, I want to send it or I don't want to send it. So
Yeah.
you're not actually doing them live. So absolutely, you can have something recorded and then upload it. And it's only recently changed because it used to be like 10, I think 10 to 30 seconds that you would have one story show. But now, within the last couple of weeks, it's actually increased to 1 minute, which is
Really?
really
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
mm,
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, this might be a very timely challenge for me doing. So, yeah, Andy says, I really love doing stories and finding great. Yeah,
yes.
Andy's a musician.
You'll
As
have to
well.
join us then, Andy.
Yeah, no. I'm going to come and do this because it sounds right up my street, and it's the sort of thing
Yeah.
where I think I'm always interested in learning. So I've been doing video production for like 1,000 years, and my sort of story is I started out as I'm from the Midlands originally, so I started out working in a production company up in Solihull, for a guy called John Trace, and it was the tail end of VHS. We were, I did some people. Where is it? There it is. I even did some presenting work. This is a pilot for a show.
Really?
So this is a pilot for a show called Attic Antiques, which we shot for Channel 4, and I was thinking of finding a way to get this digitized and sharing it online as a story. So I mean, it contains pretty in. So maybe this would make a good thing to get a story. It does contain footage of me with a full head of hair. Well, I say full head of hair. So whether anyone thinner with a full head of hair, if anybody can imagine that. So maybe I will. Maybe that's I might share that on stories.
I like that idea.
Well, I like the idea of it disappearing after a few days as well. So
Well, 24 hours, not even a few days.
Thanks for the support. I feel, Andy, that there might be an ulterior motive. Yes. Brilliant. Okay. So tell us. Now, is that okay, Scott? We've just got to work it. So Scott is a fabulous speaker. He's got an amazing TikTok channel. He's got an amazing Instagram channel.
Okay. You'll be great at this.
Yeah. So, Scott, which part of it is it that you don't believe the hair or sort of general levels of tubbiness? It's probably the hair, isn't it? I was a slim young thing at one point. Instead of my day, the most. I've shared this before. I was out. This is about a year ago with my mastermind gang, who are pretty much hair. So Scott, yeah, it is. I'll have to prove it. This feels like I feel like
you've got to do it now, haven't you? Yeah, up for the challenge.
Yeah, so somebody had shared some sort of pictures on Facebook, and apparently somebody's daughter looked over and looked at the picture of me and said, "Why is Greg Wallace with you?" I was like, because right, I need to do something, but I haven't done anything about it. So Plymouth's Devon's foremost accidental Greg Wallace impersonator. Your subtitle said "slimy young thing." Oh dear. So back to Sense and Reason. When is the challenge? Because I want to know, because I want to sign up for it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So the challenge actually runs on the 21st of November, but I'm opening the group tomorrow because we've got a few little pre-challenge stuff in there to help you get things set up. So by the time the 21st comes, you're ready to hit the ground running, know exactly what you're doing. And I'm also offering like a 15-minute strategy call before it even starts. So we can talk about your business, what you can do for the 7 days, just so you make the most of that time.
Yeah, great. Well, share the link in the group, because I think this is actually something that works. This is really kind of just right for people here in the group. And so next week as well. So in the group, so once we've chatted about the stories side of things, I'm going to get into a little bit of what's coming up in the group. So next week we are going to be doing a week-long focus on basic video editing. I asked a question in the group yesterday, in fact. I said, I'm going to do a free action week next week here in the group. What would you like to learn? Basic editing, subtitling, video testimonials, start to finish. And literally everyone has said basic video editing. So we are, by grand consensus, going to do some basic video editing. And so we are, alongside the challenge, that would work very well, I think. Kind of bit of very basic, create your stories, upload them.
Put them up.
Yeah. So
yeah, love it.
So that's
no guys.
Yeah. Andy, Andy's a member of them, is in the membership. There is a task today. It's a very, very easy one today, and it's about if you look, hang on, I'm going to tag you into the live. It was a very light, because yesterday's was a bit more of a big thinker. There we go. Where is it? Andy, what? Andy. There we go. I've tagged you in, Andy. You did get a task today. Yep. Mike is currently battling with video editing at the moment. So yes, that come up next week. We're going to be digging deep ish, because you can, in a week you can only get so far. We're going to do just some little daily tasks around video editing, just to get people.
I think I might have to join that as well.
Yeah, come along. It's going to be great fun. And it's I think it can feel really easy to get overwhelmed by all these things that we have to do. So I think these kind of challenge weeks can, when they've got a really clear focus, like yours with the kind of the stories focus, they can be incredibly valuable for just shifting your thinking, even if it's just like a little bit along. Because I know that when I've run my Go Live to Thrive challenge, there are people who start and they go, I've never used live video before. And they pop out the other end of it going, that's great. I'm now using live video. And if obviously there's a set, with these challenges, there's always that, there's often that kind of sell at the end of it. But for me, if somebody comes along and uses the challenge and gets lots of value out of it, that's great. I love it. Frankly, whilst I'd love to be working with loads of people from the challenge, if somebody comes along and gets stuck in and gets value from it, that's just as good. It doesn't necessarily have to. It's not all about the sell.
No,
but so okay, where are we? We've got a great challenge to get our teeth into. So as a group, I think it would be good to take a good hard look at that and get stuck in. And I will be there as well, which I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I'll be doing that. In terms of things that are brewing my end, I want to just give people a bit of a rundown. So we've got some exciting stuff in the offing. So we have recently reopened Grow Your Video Skills Made Easy, which is the paid membership. So it's 15 quid a month. It's just about coming along and doing a small, teeny tiny daily task. So each month we have a focus. This month is all about using live video to grow your business. And it's about building out a sustainable live video strategy through a series of micro tasks, because very often, I think now more than ever, I'm feeling like the sort of delivery systems of information and knowledge need to shift. I've done a lot of courses, very, very good courses, by the way, and this isn't the criticism of things of it, where I was sort of being asked to sit down and consume a sort of an hour's worth of Zoom information, and I've done that, and it's great, and I think it was great when our attention was sort of undivided, but now I'm sort of leaning towards delivering the information, these little daily nibbles. We've got lots on, our lives are sort of, broadly speaking, back to normal, and so the pressures of every day, I think, require a slightly different approach to learning these business skills. So over this month, in the membership, we are talking about live video. We're only a few days in, so if you're thinking, gosh, I'd really love to put together a live video strategy that actually works and puts money on the bottom line for my business, come and join me in Video Skills Made Easy. It's only 15 quid a month, so get in on it. So that's the sort of that's the membership. We are also, we've finally got dates and a full rundown of what's on offer in the in the retreat. So it's very exciting.
Sounds really exciting.
Yeah, so I might just share the video again, because I was the sizzle reel video that we did. I'm just going to bring it up and I will share it here again and put it on so we can just let's full screen. Yeah, let's put that. Thank you, Andy. I recommend Andy Jacobs. There we go. Back at you. Present, share screen. So this is kind of, this is now going to be sort of starting week commencing 22nd of May. So
oh, that looks beautiful.
it's hitting a bit of a sweet spot.
Wow. Oh, I could be there right now. I'd love that.
So this is all this is the sort of the excitement of yeah, Mike, that's my little place in the sun. So I don't talk about it very often, but sadly not. If that was my home, I would be living in Italy full time. I would have although I do feel a bit, I love Italy dearly, but my God, it's a country that makes weird political decisions on a regular basis. So yeah, less said about that the better, I think. But no, if it was my holiday home, I would be there in a flash. Sadly, it's not. It's a beautiful villa, and we have been mapping out all the content around it at the moment. So we've got, I'm just going to run down what we've got going on with this, because it's actually really exciting. We've now finally got it to a point where myself, Chantel, and so obviously I'm doing the video stuff. Chantel Davison is doing copy, and Charlotte Wibley is doing funnel tech. But also we've got involved Amanda Hutchinson, who's going to be there doing brand photography for us. So there's going to be fabulous kind of a fabulous sort of stack of value there. So we've got me doing animated brand pack, virtual testimonials, sales page video, personal brand sizzle reel, pre-launch promo videos, vision and values video, challenge week task videos, welcome to the challenge group video, thanks for buying and welcome to the course video. So there's a whole bunch of video content. Chantel's doing challenge sign-up page copy, challenge promo emails, masterclass sign-up page copy, masterclass promo emails, sales page copy, sales email campaign, social media promo campaign, Facebook ad copy, objection handling cheat sheet. It's bananas. Charlotte is creating and tweaking all landing pages. So you got challenge sign-up, thank yous, sign-up forms, product and checkouts, connection of all pages and all the tech that goes on in the back end. It's crazy. So so we get all of that, and then it all happens in an Italian villa setting. So we're having a masked ball, a masked dinner at the end of it.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
So we don't, and there's going to be other activities. I mean, what I don't want to do with the retreat is kind of overly stuff it, because I think these kind of retreats work at their best when there is a balance between relaxation and action. And I think the tendency is to sort of stuff these things full of things going on, and actually what we want is time to get the work done, but also time to do something interesting, but also time to sit by the pool and have somebody bring you a cocktail. And
that sounds wonderful.
Yeah. So we will be getting deep into that in the next few weeks, because this is going live as a sort of a thing that people can buy next week. So it's all very exciting.
Fantastic. Very exciting.
Yeah, so there we go. We've got two ends of the spectrum there. If you're just getting going with video skills made easy, or if you want to bunk off to an Italian villa and have us all do it for you.
Not for that.
Look at it and go, wow, I could really go for that. So
yeah.
But there we go. So that's what I've got going on. Look, we're sort of coming to the end of this weekly ramble, but do we have any final thoughts to share about stories and kind of storytelling and getting your message out there?
Oh, you've just got to do it. I think once you start doing it, you just fall in love with it. Just have a go. Just, bite the bullet. Just take the leap. Have fun. Definitely. Get your story out there. People need to hear it.
They do. And I think that's it. Everyone in this group has got fabulous businesses, and it's a crying shame when people don't get to learn about them. So shout loudly, shout often, and be proud about what you do, and kind of
be bold.
Yeah, be bold. Yeah, be proud and be bold. There we go. That's a good place to look. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here to talk and chat about, all the things, storytelling, marketing.
Yeah.
Connecting. So yeah.
Exactly.
Have you popped the link in the group, or is it?
No, I will do that. I will do that shortly. Definitely it'll be in there. And then I'll probably may even put a post, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, please do.
Information about what it's about. But yes, no, I definitely will. And thank you so much, Tom, for inviting me. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Really enjoyed it. Sure. And thank you to everyone that's viewing and taking the time to ask us some questions and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome, Mike.
Fabulous. Lovely. Great. Okie dokie then. Well, we will bring this session to a close. I will be here again next Thursday for more content and cocktails and another deep dive into all things video making and video marketing. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.